In July 2022, I skippered Skip Novak's original high-latitude yacht Pelagic for 2 months in the Arctic, with Skip on board for the first of 3 expeditions. The two of us joined the boat in Greenland to sail Pelagic up Greenland's west coast and then back down to Iqaluit on Baffin Island. This is part 1 of our 3-week Greenland adventure. Thor and the crew sailed Pelagic from Thomaston, USA to Greenland. After the crew had left, Skip, Tom, and myself were due to fly in and meet Thor in seasandsummits. My adventure started with a ferry from the Isle of Wight to Southampton, a train to London, and a flight from here to Greenland, with short stops in Reykjavik and Iqaluit. We landed in Ilulissat, a coastal town on the west coast and Greenland's most popular tourist destination. We were greeted with dense fog and could barely see any of Greenland's impressive landscape en route to our hotel. A last-minute cancellation of Skip's and my flights, plus a persistent fog, meant there were no available flights for the two of us to seasandsummits. Tom's flight was on schedule, so he had to fly by himself to meet Thor in seasandsummits, while Skip and myself found ourselves stranded in Ilulissat. Therefore, in our situation, the mountain had to come to the prophet. So Thor and Tom had to sail Pelagic 180 nautical miles north from seasandsummits to Ilulissat to pick Skip and myself up. Whilst Thor and Tom were at sea, Skip and myself had a chance to explore Ilulissat. With a population of roughly 4,700 people, it is the municipal seat and largest town of the Avannaata municipality, as well as the third largest town in Greenland after Nuuk and seasandsummits. While tourism is now the biggest industry, fishing and prawns are still important industries, and Ilulissat has a small but very well protected harbour. The harbour can be restricted during winter due to sea ice. However, most of the year it is accessible with a marina for smaller boats in the inner harbour and a ferry and larger vessel dock to the west side. The town is home to almost as many sled dogs as people.
The Greenlandic dog is a very special and specific breed of husky that is not found anywhere else in the world. This dog is isolated from other species to protect the breed and the culture they represent. Like other huskies, they have mind-blowing levels of stamina, endurance and power, and they are considered to be very good at reading ice conditions.
At 60 degrees, 13 minutes north, it is about 160 nautical miles north of the Arctic Circle, which means the sun never dips below the horizon during midsummer and never rises during the height of winter.
It has long cold winters and short cool summers, with the lowest recorded temperature plummeting to -37.8 degrees Celsius. It is, however, one of the driest and sunniest settlements in Greenland. Formerly known as Jakobshavn, the town was established as a trading post by the Jakob Severin Company in 1741 and was named in his honour. Because of the rich history in the town and the surrounding area, Chris and Skip made time to visit the museum. It was packed with artefacts and was a real cultural tour inside.
While Thor and Tom entered Disco Bay and encountered more ice, Skip and myself kept a good lookout for the 55-foot white and red steel yacht. Suddenly, a mast appeared and Pelagic made her final approach to Ilulissat, through a field of icebergs of all different shapes and sizes. After one final obstacle, right inside the harbor, they were tied up safely alongside a local fishing vessel. Skip and I moved on board straight away, so we could slip lines early the next morning to head out into Disco Bay and start our Greenland sailing adventure. But before we go any further, let me introduce you to the crew.
I'm Skip Novak, the owner of Pelagic here, this little 54-foot sailboat. And it's really great to have reconnected with this boat that we built in '87 and take it up to the Arctic, because I'm sailing bigger boats normally. And I've come to the conclusion, which I did know all along, that small is beautiful. We did a lot with this boat, and it's a great boat to sail up in high latitudes. Very happy.
Okay, I'm Tor, otherwise known as 2-Minute Tor, or on the street, Tornado. Yeah, been sailing a long time, you know. It's, mother's a mermaid, father's Poseidon. Every hair on my head is hemp and every bone in my body is a spar.
With a family tree like this, Tor has been in or on the water for most of his life. Besides being an incredible surfer, he has been part of the Pelagic team since 2020 and sailed with us to remote places like Gough Island, Marion Island and Zavadovsky.
What do you want?
Sexy.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a penguinologist, but I'm here on holiday. So I'm not looking at any wildlife whatsoever. In fact, I'm avoiding it. Yeah, I sail a lot, and I sail a lot with, have sailed a lot with Skip and with Chris. So really, I'm just here along for the ride and pulling some ropes as and when I can. That's it. What a guy.
With his jolly fine crew and our hardy steel yacht, we were very eager to explore Greenland's west coast. With all lines and fenders stored, we entered the ice field in front of the Kangia glacier.
And one more line.
The Ilulissat region is stunningly beautiful due to its unique combination of the enormous production of icebergs from the glacier and the presence of the bar that runs across the mouth of the fjord where icebergs run aground. An unending drama of changing forms, colours and sounds is created as the icebergs melt, collapse and collide with each other. The Cermak glacier is 3 to 6 kilometres wide, up to 2,500 metres thick and has an extremely high velocity, moving up to 30 to 40 metres per day. This makes it one of the world's fastest glaciers. Many glaciers only flow 30 to 40 metres per year. It is responsible for 1/10 of the total production of icebergs from the inland ice. The icebergs fill the Kangi fjord and vary in size from small blocks to approximately 1.5 cubic kilometres of ice or more. These large icebergs are rare, but they can always be seen at the mouth of the ice fjord where they run aground. The position of the glacier front and glacier velocities didn't change much from 1950 to 1990. After that, the glacier began to accelerate. This was accompanied by thinning and rapid retreat, resulting in the glacier losing its floating tongue.
We found a secluded spot just south of the glacier where we prepared to drop the anchor. We let plenty of chain out, usually, unless there's not enough swinging room, 5 times the available depth. To avoid a guessing game on how much chain is out, It has different color marks every 10 meters. Pelagic has a windlass on the foredeck. Once the anchor is set, the chain gets locked off on a bollard, so there is never any strain on the windlass itself. We also set a snubber to take the load and to act as a shock absorber. Once the anchor was set, we inflated the Bombard Commando C4 dinghy on the foredeck. To lower the dinghy into the water, we run the painter through the fair lead on the bow and onto a cleat. This stops it from swinging aft. We then lift it with one of the spare halyards over the side. All set, we made our way ashore to explore the fjord and its surrounding area. We lifted the dinghy onto the rocks well above the high water mark to avoid unpleasant surprises should we come back near a high tide. As we walked towards the fjord, we found some ancient stone graves, still with skulls and bones inside.
The Kangia Ice Fjord is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is just over 1 nautical mile south of Ilulissat. This incredible ice-choked fjord is fed by the most active glacier in the northern hemisphere. Enormous icebergs become trapped on an underwater moraine before breaking free, releasing thousands of icebergs of all sizes into Disco Bay.
As we stood over the fjord and admired this incredible sight, we spotted some blows deep inside the ice. Whales, 2 of them. But as quickly as they appeared, they disappeared again, and we continued our walk along the fjord. Thor, always up for a little adventure, climbed onto one of the ice floes, got stuck and nearly drifted off. Luckily, he managed to get back onto the bigger floe and eventually back ashore.
Greenland's west coast has beautiful walks with stunning backdrops everywhere. In the summer of 2024, Tor and Chris are venturing back to Greenland on Pelagic, and they have some charter berths available. If you are interested to join them, you can find details on our Instagram page or email us directly.
On our way back to the dinghy, Tor spotted a headless musk ox cadaver. After a short search, he found the head a few meters further down in the water. We got the dinghy, picked up the musk ox head, and once back on board, Skip gave it a good clean with one of the sharp kitchen knives. It was then left hanging over the transom for the fish to clean the rest. Join us next as we continue to sail up Greenland's west coast, discover some beautiful little towns, tie up alongside rocks in impressive fjords, and encounter orcas and polar bears as we sail along the ice edge on Baffin Island. We finish our first expedition in Iqaluit, where we encounter 12-meter tides.
Thank you to all our patrons for your support and encouragement. It really motivates us and it means a lot. Because of this support, it helped and encouraged us to purchase our first drone, and with lessons from Tom on board Pelagic, Chris managed to get some stunning shots, which you will see more of in our next film. If you enjoyed this film, please do like and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate it. If you would like to support our work, you can do so via the Super Thanks button with a one-off donation, or check out our Patreon page for early access and extra content. we would love it if you would like to follow our Seas and Summits social media accounts, as well as our personal wildlife photography accounts on Instagram. For this, check out the links in the video description